Good morning, YouTube fam. Lots of things to update you here on the homestead. First thing is we have baby goats. Lavender delivered a couple weeks ago on a Saturday morning, fast and furious. Went out and I checked on her. I'm like, ooh, I think we're probably gonna get close. She was definitely in early labor. Didn't really know that though, since this was our first goat birth. Went in the house and 45 minutes later she had two little babies on the ground. A little buckling that has been named Red Power Ranger and a little doeling named Daisy, and they're so adorable. So she is absolutely the best mama ever. I have not started milking her yet. That is in the plans for starting this weekend. I just couldn't find it in my heart to give those tiny little babies, prevent them from having mama's milk overnight, but now they seem to be kind of venturing and trying other foods. So I feel like it's okay to block them off overnight and do a morning milking, and then they'll have all day to milk. Or to nurse. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the garden. I'm going to show you guys the apple trees and how they are doing since I did the rock around, and just really hoping and praying that that works and that they are able to establish their roots better this summer and kind of come back from that root damage that they got. So let's do this. My strawberries are still trying to recover from the really poor soil that was in here. I tried to replace some of it, threw in some rabbit poop, and I mean, we're getting some flowers and probably some strawberries, but they're just not really flourishing as I have experienced strawberries before. I wasn't sure if this blueberry was gonna make it through the winter, but finally started leafing out, and this is a pink lemonade blueberry, which is probably one of my very favorite blueberries. So we've got that growing here. Rhubarb is doing good. Doing deep watering on this, what is just this one? The Freedom apple tree. And this one is the one that is rooted in the best. Did a little bit of a guild with some chives and comfrey. Then we've got our black currant. And then here we go. Here's one of the loose ones. Here's the Honeycrisp. And let's see how it's doing. It looks like the roots are doing all right since we've got root stock growing in there. So, I mean, it still wiggles quite a bit there, but hopefully it'll be enough. It had a lot of flowers on it and is still leafing out. And there's some little baby apples growing on there. Another black currant. Well, I gotta grab my coffee before any more bugs get in there. I'm probably gonna have to fish that bug out. And again here, oops, we've got comfrey and chives growing in a guild there. And I also have a, what is that? A swallowtail fennel in there to bring in some pollinators and just kind of add some little flowers over to this part of the garden, just because I feel like that's a good idea. And then another black currant and another guild here. And this is the, what is this? The Liberty apple. This one was the worst. He just is really, really loose in here. Just like really, really loose in there. So hopefully, you know, by putting this ring of rock around and doing deep watering and having a full spring and summer and hopefully a decent fall will help this to, hi Ira, dad a good boy, to root this in. So you can see the leafing out on it wasn't as robust as the other two. It did get some flowers that hopefully got pollinated. So we do have some little mini apples on there, but I'm just not, I don't know, just really hoping that something happens here with this one. And then I've got another apple tree over here. It hasn't planted yet because I still need to, there's my cute goats. There she is. Okay, so this is Sunshine that just hopped down, this black and white one, or dark brown and white one. And she went to go see her boyfriend back in April. And I think they did it. So we should hopefully have, she should hopefully deliver in September was the timing that I gave for her. All right, so I've got a Cox's orange pippin here, and I just have to measure out along this fence line here to make sure that that is in the right spot before I plant it. And then over here I have a Whitney crab apple. And again, it's not going to get planted until I measure out along here to make sure that I've got them in the spots that I want them to be. And my black lace elderberry didn't make it on all of the branches. It does have some things coming out of the rootstock, so we'll see if that will come back or not. I do have a giant native wild elderberry that is gigantic, that is doing just fine. So we'll see if this one survives or not. And that's kind of why I'm waiting on these apple trees, because if that doesn't make it, then I'm pulling it up and I'm gonna not have that there and might be able to put another tree there instead. So we'll see. Horseradish. And then my onions are doing well. They are growing in. And I've got 4 garlic that survived and are doing well, and some shallots in here. And then this was my garlic bed, and like almost all of them came up and it was so beautiful, but something burrowed underneath, and I would come out here and every day I had one less garlic because whatever it was, probably like a vole or something, sucked it under, like pulled it down through their hole that they made underneath and took all my garlic. I did pull one out prematurely to see, so I'm just kind of letting it cure, but I mean, the garlic did not get that big yet. I mean, it was just starting to clove out, and whatever it was under there, look, I mean, they ate all of the roots off, and it's just a total mess. So this bed is gonna get planted with some flowers and probably like some sunflowers and stuff. Here is my other strawberries. These ones look like they're a little bit better. I'm not quite sure. And we've got flowers in here, some amaranth and coneflower and Kiss Me over the garden gate or under the garden gate. Bee's Friend, and I planted some sunflower seeds in there. Got a blueberry. This one is also very loose, kind of like the apple trees. And there were some vole hills or vole lines around it, so I think they ate some of the roots a little bit, but I mean, he's still leafing out, so hopefully he's able to recover. Rhubarb, I let go to seed into flower. I know, don't tell me to cut that down. I already know, but I wasn't gonna harvest from it this year anyway, so I just let it go. Some zinnias, and I got some little asparagus starts from Azure Standard, and so those are growing. And I did some amaranth as well. And this was the cherry tree that I planted last year. That was a sapling, and only 2 of the branches survived, except for the second branch. Looks like it's dead now, and then that one broke off. So not too hopeful on this cherry. Probably gonna have to pull it out and replace it with something else. We've got sweet peas and leftover onions and some calendula in there, or calendula, however I say calendula. Another blueberry, some more sweet peas, calendula, zinnia, feverfew, and asparagus in this one. I have a Royal Anne cherry that is, let's see, just a little tiny thing, getting ready to get that planted. This soil here is just like full of rocks. It's more rocks than it is soil, and it's really not fun to dig into. Got some comfrey and mullein, some thyme, zinnias and some sunflowers planted in here. Feverfew, calendula, zinnias, cosmos, salal, and probably some sunflowers are planted in there as well. The blueberry that I planted in here last year didn't make it, and so I bought another one at work, and this is a gigantic pink lemonade that I got planted. And then I've got a van cherry that looks much better that is ready to go into the ground. And I've got a little comfrey there to plant with it, just to kind of continue to do that little guild. And then here we go. We've got feverfew and zinnias and calendula and probably some sunflowers and pansies and a gigantic comfrey. Another blueberry, echinacea, and I have some milkweed in here, and sage and salvia and coneflower and zinnias and sunflowers all planted up in there. And then I did get my Utah giant cherry planted and got a comfrey put in there with it. And so this is what it looked like when I dug it up in that hole. Look at those rocks, just a little bit of soil. I've got a bunch of peppers that need to go to somebody else's home because I'm all planted out here. So if you're local, there's 2 pepper plants per each pot, $6. Peonies I started last year that came back, and I'm like in disbelief that there is a bloom on this one. See if I can get it to focus. So we'll see if that one actually blooms all the way through. Strawberries, and these are actually doing really good. I'm so surprised because this was some of that really bad soil that I used last year, and like they're growing. So that's really exciting. I've got bees, friend salvia in there, and Roman chamomile, and then I've got cayenne, shishito, serrano, and jalapeno peppers in here. And then over here I've got another Cosmo, purple beauty bell peppers, cherry tomatoes, and hyssop. And I think I planted some sunflowers in there. And then I've got my 1, 2, 3 beds of Amish paste tomatoes. There's some marigolds and pansies, sunflowers, peas and lettuce, volunteer squash of I have no idea what, and a hyssop in there. So hopefully these guys do really well. And then in here I've got more peas and lettuce, and a couple of slicing tomatoes, a Cherokee purple and an indigo blue, kale, and some German chamomile, which is doing better than the Roman chamomile over there. You can't see it, but I've got Brussels sprouts and lettuce in here. And then in this one I've got spinach and broccoli in here. I need to go to the store because I don't need the frost blankets on them because it's definitely warm enough. So I need to go to like Joann's or something, and I'm gonna get tulle, like bradle veil tulle, to put over it as insect covering so that I can keep these guys protected from cabbage moths. In here I need to water. I've got cucumbers and zucchini in here, along with some sunflowers, cosmos, and then a random onion that sprouted that I obviously missed last year when I was pulling them up. And these 3 beds were the beds that I had my onions and shallots in that did absolutely terrible. So before I put in a new layer of soil on top, I amended them with a bunch of bunny poop from our rabbits, and then I put new soil on top. So hopefully these beds have been fixed. We'll see. And here I've got a honey nut butternut squash and a bunch of different flowers, and sour gherkin or cucamelon right there. So I want to try that. Some amaranth and some more bee's friend salvia. And then in this one, I've got the red warty thing pumpkin and a Cherokee pumpkin and a Cosmo, and then again, some other flowers, sunflowers and stuff planted in here. This is where I had my bean teepee last year, and all of the snowberry bush is like coming up again. And so we are just going to lay down some more cardboard and then get the wood chips from over there and wood chip over this. And then this is the other area where we had another snowberry that I cut down, and we're going to cardboard over it and put wood chips over this, and then probably still put the tarp over it just to try to really eliminate that from being able to come back. But they're finding their way around the tarp that I've got to try and survive. And man, those snowberries are something terrible. And then this is my greenhouse that we had a miscommunication with. Thomas and I did. He was just supposed to put up the metal frame, and then we were gonna corrugated roofing, clear corrugated roofing, so this could be a greenhouse. And he put the roof on, so whoops. That is what it is. So we got to take that off and still do that, but it's just nice to be able to put things and store in there for right now. So we're just dealing with it. This Nanking cherry is doing well, and then all of my potatoes are starting to sprout. I've got Huckleberry Gold and can't remember, Red Norland or something like that. And so we are growing those in these pots. Whew, that was a super quick tour. There's a bunch of my cardboard that I have been collecting to put down over on top of the grass before we lay the wood chips down. And so hopefully we will get to that. I feel confident in being able to drive the tractor. I just need Thomas to back it out of our garage first and just give me a quick little tutorial. I drive machinery at work, so like I know how to do all that stuff. So I don't think that ours is going to be much different. Just have to, get a little quick tutorial on it and do that. And then I've got another thing I want to show you, because we hatched out 16 baby chicks. Let's see, they're 3 weeks old, almost 4 weeks old now. And so at the beginning of April is when we put them in the incubator, and I did that because we had an accident with that guy right there, and my favorite chicken, who is here with us no longer. And she had one egg in the laying boxes, and so I grabbed that egg and all of the other eggs that were in there and stuck them in the incubator, trying to preserve her lineage. And we got 16 eggs. Hers did not develop, so I missed out on that. It is what it is. And we have actually brooded out the baby chicks. We lost one who was deformed and had like a crooked beak. And I just think that she was not able to get adequate amounts of food and water because of her deformity. And so she did not survive. So we are down to 15 chicks, and we moved them into the rabbit-tat, and they are loving it, and it's so cute. So let me go show you what it looks like over there. Hi, good boy. Dad's such a good boy. Hi, Ira. All right, so I did a second layer of chicken wire, and then we have bird netting on top. We still have light in here for them, but they can go in there and they can go in there, and then they run around all out here. They just went underneath because Ira ran around. I took the pan out from that coop and stuck it there so that they have like a little bit of a windbreak, and to try to make it a little bit warmer. But I mean, we've been in the 50s overnight, so we felt pretty good about them being here, and they love it. I mean, they're all hiding under there right now, but they just absolutely love it in there, and they run all around and they jump on the logs and do all of that fun stuff. But they're our homestead mix. They're out of Easter eggers and whitings and copper morans and all sorts of different breeds, and they're so fun. They're just adorable. We're really hoping that we have a good amount of hens because this was a rough year on the hen front with my layers. We have lost 5 of them. 3 of which happened recently in the last couple of weeks. 1 got nabbed by our husky, and then 2 of them just didn't make it overnight. So, and then he got a little rough with Sally, and that just happens. And then who was the other one that we lost? And then we lost another one. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, so we've got these, and so hopefully there's lots of little hens in there, and to replace the ones that we're losing and whatnot. So they're there. Oh, there they go. Aren't they so cute? Oh, baby chicks are so fun. Well, and while we're up here, I'll show you my mess, but let's look and see how the bacon seeds are doing. Okay. There's Runty and Jimmy Dean. Oh, and there's Princess. Yeah. Oh no. Greasy and Bangers and Princess. And they are just getting gigantic. We can't believe how big they are, how fast they're growing, how much they're growing. And they still have till the end of August. So they're pretty cute. They're getting a lot more friendly. Princess and Bangers especially. Runty doesn't like me to touch him, so I haven't really gotten to pet him or Jimmy Dean, but they're absolutely just adorable and we love them so much. All right, so Ira gets to be out in the morning, kind of wandering around, checking everything out, and then he gets put away in his pen, and then we let the chickens out, and we have found that to be the way to prevent more accidents. So, you know, we knew the risk of letting him wander when the chickens were out, and Sally paid the price for that, which was just terrible, and I'm so sad about it. But homestead life, and we know he's a puppy and everything, but we thought we'd take the risk, and now we've changed it. So living and learning and doing all that stuff. But this kid, this boy right here, is something fantastic, and we absolutely love him, and he is such a good boy. Welcome to the homestead of unfinished projects. We got this area finished and fenced off for Lavender and her babies the day, hours after she delivered her babies. So the plan was for it to be completed and her to be laboring and delivering in here. But now I guess it's the postpartum ward. And she's got her babies in there, and it's just a nice little place for them to be. Got the fence posts painted and put in, and the fencing up. It's not done yet. We still need to cut the fencing so that it's the correct length, and then put the top and bottom boards on, which need to be selected and painted. We've got a gate on here, and they've got their nice little area inside. Gets nice sun most of the day, but also still lots of shade. And then eventually this will be painted black, unfinished, because that's as far as I got with the painting. This is a really rough surface, and even though they stained it or whatever before they put the house up for sale a couple years ago, this is it's really hard to paint. So might actually have to do a paint sprayer, would probably be the best route to go. And then Hi boy. And then over here, I have my gate frame, my bed frame that's going to be my garden gate here, ready to go for spray painting black. And then I'll figure out how to get that with hinges and installed in the garden to keep the dogs out of my garden. So, but let's look at these cute little babies. They are just so adorable. Hi, goody pies. Hi, sweet babies. Red Ranger, Daisy. And Lavender does not like it when Ira comes by. We have had a couple of escapes, which, I mean, how very goat to have goat escapes. But so far, this has been a really good place for them. So I've got more posts, and we're actually going to fence off here and go back that way and build another lean-to that's similar to this on this side, and we'll have this fenced off, and this will be and we'll move the goats, the other 3 goats, over here so that they can be next to each other, and that way she'll get to move over with her babies over there. By the time Sunshine is ready to deliver, Sunshine will get to come over here and labor and deliver in there, away from the other goats, to keep her babies safe and give her just some time for bonding and whatnot. So that's one of the projects that we're working on. I have all of my posts right there. Need to take all the screws and everything out and get them painted, and those are my sawhorses for painting. So they can do with what we've got. They're so cute. Oh my gosh, they're so fun.